Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 93 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them. Available on YouTube and in most places podcasts can be found. As always, I'm your host, Erroll Maas, with my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Corder.
Hey.
And we're going to get right into... We don't have any housekeeping this week, but we're going to get right into the Japanese games we've been playing. So I've been around a little bit. I went back to Monster Hunter Stories 2 to try to face some more of those DLC monsters, which... Oof. They are not easy. And then I realized... I'm like, you know what? I never actually unlocked all the post-game areas in the base game, so I should go back and do that.
Okay.
So I went back to, like, the Velkhana, which is one of, like, the hardest monsters in the base game, and I didn't beat it, so I'm like, okay, so I guess I need to do grinding in this immediate area for a while, and then I'll come back to it. The other thing with the Velkhana is it's one of those things where instead of having a kind of set attack strategy where it goes, well, it does have a set, but where it's like, okay, it's a power type, so it uses a power attack most of the time, and then it switches things up when it gets angry. It's more like there are notes you have to collect in the cave near it, and once you get all those notes, all those notes have a different piece of advice, like, oh, use these types of weapons on these parts of it, or like if it uses this attack, then it'll use this attack right after. It's more like it like kind of is a more advanced version of following the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's gonna be pretty
Does that make for
pretty difficult,
more fun content, or is it just difficult for difficulty's sake?
It's hard to tell right now because I'm not sure if I'm under level or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is level 60, and I kind of feel like I get destroyed pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I have to just upgrade my armor, or if I'm wearing the wrong armor, or like I just need to level up to like 70 or something, or what it is.
Okay.
It also doesn't help that you don't see, when you encounter a monster for the first time, you don't see their health. Well, or their health comes up as like just a gray bar and just has question marks on it.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of... wait, what other game does that? It's like Pokemon does that?
I don't think Pokemon ever did that.
Well, which one was it?
There's another game that does do that. But
I'm blanking on it, but yeah.
Yeah. And so I haven't really... So I've been trying to go back to that at some point when I have time. Been doing a lot of writing stuff. Then Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I'm on my way to the last dungeon of the expansion. I have a couple quests and then I'll be there.
Is it bittersweet, or are you just eager to get to Endwalker by now?
I'm pretty eager to get to Endwalker by now.
Yeah.
Again, like I said last week, the story of Shadowbringers, I don't think is all that great.
Is there a reason why you don't think that?
There are certain elements that are cool, but it's not like, oh my god, the story is so good. I'm just like, I can't.
But
like, it's
okay,
fine. It's better than Stormblood. That's a pretty low bar.
Without getting into spoilers, what about the story does not make it good for you?
It just, like, a lot of parts of it just aren't interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one villain that a lot of people hyped up.
Emmett Sells?
Yeah, he has less involvement than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can't spoil too much, of course.
But
it's just...
Are you in the main quest, or are you already at the patch quest?
Oh no, I'm still in the main quest. So the last dungeon of the actual Shadowbringers expansion is what I'm about to get to.
It could be that the story picks up with the patch quest.
Yeah, but I think the patch quests are more like going or like setting things up for Endwalker.
Sure, but like in the case of Heaven's Ward, a lot was a lot of the story was told within the patch quests themselves. So I'm pretty given their track record, I'm pretty sure that it might be that the patch quests turn you around on the story.
I'm still having plenty of fun, and then my friend who plays the game all the time and has like a high blacksmithing level, he made me this set called the Exarchic armor, which I think looks really cool. So I'll be wearing that for a while. And something that annoys me about Dark Knight armor, which is not the one I'm wearing, it's not specific to Dark Knight. But Dark Knight armor specifically, a lot of it has a lot of them have like one shoulder thing. It makes it asymmetrical and makes it look weird to me. It's something that I just really don't like.
Well,
and I don't know why they all do that.
Asymmetrical armor is like not that uncommon in fantasy media. Or
no, I know. It's just like a small annoyance, and I'm just like, oh, I wish that didn't.
You can't cast glamour on your armor piece.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't need to cast glamour right now. I have the Exarchic armor, but
okay.
But yeah, that's what I would do. I do it with the what's it called? The Dark Divinity armor that I got from the Odin fight that we did a bunch of times, because it still has that asymmetrical quality, but instead of having like an asymmetrical shoulder pad, it's just like a spike on one of the shoulders, and I'm like, okay, that's not quite as bad as the other ones. That doesn't bother me as much.
Okay.
And then I also started playing Super Robot Wars 30. I haven't played that much of it yet, so I can't really say that much. It's interesting that you can start in one of two paths, one in the space colony and one on Earth. I started with the space colony because it's like, it'll say like, oh, series represented, and I'll just tell you two of the series that are in that path. And then etc. So you're gonna know those two series are there, but you're not gonna know what to expect otherwise. I chose the space one because it was the only one that had Gundam at the start. It had Victory Gundam, so I got Victory. I got some Victory Gundams.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of like game original units to mix in with the robots from different anime series. I actually, it should be out by the time this podcast is up.
Yeah, I think
I worked on a
it's out
now. No, like the game is out. No, what I'm talking about is the article I wrote was about cameos in the Super Robot Wars series. And fun fact, Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop was in Super Robot Wars T. And so was Space Pirate Captain Harlock. And Godzilla was in a mobile game.
Okay, that's interesting.
And so was a couple of Super Sentai combining robots.
Okay, so
we're in
real quick for the listeners who might not be aware of Super Robot Wars. Can you give a brief overview of what the franchise entails and how the gameplay is?
It's a strategy RPG. So apparently the gameplay of this one is different than the previous ones, and I haven't played any previous ones yet, so I can't really speak on that. But basically, it's the main Super Robot Wars series, because there are some fighting games and some other stuff. But the main series is a strategy RPG where you have a bunch of different units and you fight, a ton of other robots from anime and such.
Now,
and some of the games actually incorporate the story of those anime into the lore. Is what I found out, and I found that pretty interesting, because I feel like that was something they don't have to do, but it kind of just goes the extra mile. And the music is interesting because they're all covers of like not instrumental covers, but like kind of like instrumental covers of the opening and like other music from those anime series that are in each respective Super Robot Wars game.
I wouldn't call it covers, more like game-specific versions, instrumental game-specific
but
versions.
I found it a very fun like Jam Project is the one who makes the music, and they have a ton of musicians in that group, including Rika Matsumoto, who is the Japanese voice of Ash Ketchum.
Oh, that's neat.
And she's probably done some openings for a couple mech anime, I'm sure.
Now, when you say strategy RPG or tactical RPG,
turn-based,
is it more akin to something like Fire Emblem, Advance Wars, Into the Breach, or is it something?
I'd say, well, you're not. Well, I'd say, yeah, kind of Into the Breach, because a lot of the defeat conditions are always like, you'll be defeated if this unit falls in battle.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to make the strategy around that one, or make sure that one's strong enough to take out the enemies. Again, I haven't played that much of it yet, so I don't have that many details, but I like it so far.
Okay, that's good.
So, you've been playing some of that Voice of Cards demo?
Yeah, I started yesterday or the day before. It's all a blur these days, because work and other stuff. But yeah, I played the demo because the game dropped today, if I'm not mistaken, which at the time of recording is Thursday, the 28th of October, 2021. And I was curious because I've seen fairly positive reactions from the community, like the JRPG community, but I haven't seen much chatter regarding the game. Well, I'll talk about that one later. But yeah, Voice of Cards seemed like a very interesting thing to me, because Yoko Taro and who is the composer again? Is it Keiji Okubo? Let me check for a second. Near, who is the composer? Okay, composer. Keiichi Okabe. Yeah. So I had it wrong there for a minute. Yeah. So those two and some of the key talent behind the Nier and Drakengard series, but this is entirely different, and it's a very different take on RPGs. It's a card game RPG, but it mixes some elements from classic tabletop gameplay sessions, like rolling dice to have kind of a modifier on attacks, and having the narrator do much of the heavy lifting in terms of the story, which is very neat and very different. And the way the game is visually presented to you in terms of cards being flipped over with each move, it's very cool and striking, and it's something I've never seen before, and it's I think maybe the closest thing out there would be was it Thronebreaker, the Witcher
right,
Gwent adventure game. So yeah, it's very neat. Kind of on the easy side, so maybe the full game has a bit more added difficulty and added depth to the combat, or more mechanics to speak of. So yeah, I'm eager to try that. It's also fairly short, if I'm not mistaken, about 12 hours from what I've heard. So if you're looking for something light and breezy, this might be it. Also related, Square Enix dropped Dungeon Encounters last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I haven't seen much of that being talked about. Eric Van Allen for Destructoid did the review. I haven't seen anyone else do it, but that would also be something to keep your eye out on. And well, it's a very different JRPG, very bare bones, very systems heavy, and that might not be everyone's cup of tea. But with these two JRPGs, I think Square Enix has an interesting pair of of games to cater to fans of the genre. Besides that, I played this the Slime Isekai mobile game. If you're unfamiliar, it's based on the anime, manga, light novel series. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, which is one of the better isekai in my opinion. And I like it a whole lot. The story is very grounded. No, I shouldn't say that, because it's about a slime, and
it's still
there are dragons, there are goblins.
So
it's not grounded.
Yeah.
It's how do I say this? The story is very well thought out and fleshed out. Everything has like this cause and a reaction, and
it's easily better than every Sword Art Online. I mean, that's a low bar, but
no, that's not fair. I still think Sword Art Online is also a good isekai.
I don't know about that.
But I digress. The slime isekai is very good. It's very well balanced, I'd say, in its approach to storytelling. The only thing I complain about is the lolly demon girl who is in too little clothing to be comfortable, and that's it's groan inducing, but it's also a symptom of anime and manga and light novels and video games in general. So it sometimes feels like fighting an uphill battle when talking about these things, but yeah, whatever. The game itself is an adaptation of the first season with an added twist. I don't think I should spoil it, but it's in the description, and if you play like the first hour, then it becomes pretty apparent what that is. But yeah, it's kind of like a nice refresher if you like the anime. It has turn-based battles. It has a very interesting system in how you do special attacks and create combos. And it also has a town building sim element to it. Because if you've seen the anime, that's also a very key factor to the story, where Rimaru has to build a settlement, and then a town, and then a city, and then all the politics that are involved in all of that. It's a very faithful adaptation, I'd say, and it looks really good on mobile, which is, it's always nice. I think the gameplay is deep enough to be engaging for maybe longer than average, but I'll see if I'll stick around, because me and mobile games are not a very faithful duo, but we'll see how this goes.
All right, we're gonna move on to the In From Japan J-List, recent video game related entertainment news. We only have a couple of news stories in this section today. We have Kamen Rider manga collection pre-orders now available. This is by Brody Salzman from Tokusatsu Network. Shotaro Ishinomori's original Kamen Rider manga is about to be available in English for the first time, and fans can finally order their copies. Kamen Rider, the classic manga collection, was announced last March by Seven Seas Entertainment, and pre-orders are finally live at Barnes & Noble, Right Stuf, and Amazon. This hardcover manga collection brings together the original run of Shotaro Ishinomori's Kamen Rider manga series in English for the first time ever. This 50th anniversary hardcover omnibus edition will include special bonus materials and full color inserts. At 832 pages, this 4-volume compilation tells stories of both Kamen Rider number 1 Takeshi Hongo and Kamen Rider number 2 Hayato Ichimonji. It's available to pre-order now for $32.99 with discounts being offered at the latter two outlets. I gotta pick this up because I have the Super Sentai one, and that was pretty interesting, and I'm sure this will be as well.
Yeah,
I've watched a handful of original Kamen Rider because it's available to watch on Shout Factory, on their website, and on the Amazon add-on channel, and on Tubi TV as well.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting to see like the beginning of the Tokusatsu hero genre. And how the special effects were. Like, in some ways it reminds me of 1960s Batman, but it takes itself seriously.
Well, I think even the 1960s Batman also took itself seriously, but the point was that they'd be campy with it and have fun with it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Kamen Rider is like it's not trying to be campy. It's just like it's just because it's so old and compared to, you know, more modern Kamen Rider stuff. It's just has that quality to it. Has like a similar quality to it.
Yeah, like they didn't have any means to pull off the stories they actually wanted to tell, but this is as good as it got back then.
Like certain repeating footage, or like the way they would show like being surrounded by a bunch of enemies who are moving around fast, but they would show it in like a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend trying it out.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. And then we have Fainted Pokemon merchandise will appear in late October 2021. This is by Kite Stenbook for Siliconera. The Pokemon Company revealed a new collection of merchandise items based on Pokemon that have fainted, as indicated by the swirling eyes. It will release these items on the Japanese Pokemon Center online store on October 28, 2021. The items will also appear in physical Pokemon Center stores in Japan on October 30th, 2021. The collection will feature not only famous Pokemon like Pikachu, Gengar, and Snorlax, but also Poliwhirl, Dragonite, Larvitar, Togekiss, and Scorbunny. The company will round up the roster with Spinda, which actually has swirling eyes at all times, even when it has not fainted yet. The fainted Pokemon merchandise lineup will consist of hanging mascots, clear files, stickers, gift envelopes, desk organizers, rolled towels, laundry bags, and AirPod Pro cases. It will also include a Spinda eye mask, a neck pillow with a Gengar hoodie, and a Dragonite parka jacket. Last but not least, there will also be plushes of Fainted Spinda and Scorbunny that can also act as a pen case and a wrist set. Definitely want that Spinda mask. That's pretty funny. Also, I put this on the artist that made our mascot, Racy B. She could use some help, so go make sure to follow her on Twitter, and there will be links to like her Redbubble, her portfolio. Her Etsy, I believe. She's selling a lot of cool Pokemon and Mon game inspired stuff.
Okay.
Also, if you like spiders, she really likes spiders.
Well, that's gonna be tough.
And Ditto. Oh, they're not all. It's not all spiders.
Well, yeah,
unused Pokemon, Telefang.
Well, I mean,
a lot of interesting stuff.
People have arachnophobia, so that's why I said it might be tough.
Right. I'm saying, but if you do, like, that's a bonus. And last on the J list, we have Cowboy Bebop Netflix series official trailer release. This is by Andrew Kia for Siliconera. Netflix released the official trailer for the upcoming live-action Cowboy Bebop series, backed with original series composer Yoko Kanno's soundtrack. The trailer introduces some of the series' most iconic characters, including Spike, Jet, Faye, and even Ein, but not Ed for some reason. It also gives glimpses of villains such as Mad Perot and what looks to be Teddy Bomber. Compared to the previously released teaser trailer, the official trailer provides the premise for Cowboy Bebop. Starting with Spike and Jet's partnership, the trailer also shows how Faye became a member of the Bebop crew. Interspersed between scenes are shots of some notable fights with key antagonists from the series. Many of the characters look to be fairly faithful adaptations of their anime counterparts. Additionally, Netflix has released several stills of scenes not included in the official trailer. These include photos of a bare-chested Vicious, flying Mad Perot, and the Solon Sands. Many fans have pointed out that Edward is noticeably absent from the official trailer. To this, the Netflix Geek Twitter account responded with a cryptic, "Tune in on November 19th to find out."
I mean, that's good marketing right there.
Well, at least I got the casting for Ein right.
You mean the Welsh Corgi?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to screw that one up.
It looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, some things might not translate, so you should hold on to that going in, because anime is not live action, and live action is not anime. So, what one medium can excel at, the other cannot, and vice versa. So, don't Don't go be acting brand new and thinking, oh, this isn't like the anime. It's like, of course not. If you want the anime, it's right
This
there.
isn't like one of my animes.
I'm already pre-tired of the discourse.
I don't know. It seems like most people are okay with it. They're like, oh, it looks fine.
Hold on to your butts.
It's gonna get worse. But you know, I'm excited. It'll be fine. So somebody, the biggest Cowboy Bebop fan I know, Jackie Jing, said said she thinks it looks great and it reminds her a lot of Firefly. I'm like, well, yeah, of course it does. They're very similar. Like they were already pretty similar.
I'd say Firefly / Serenity is more comedic in tone than Cowboy Bebop.
I don't think Serenity is. some of the stuff that happens in that.
No, I mean in general.
That.
Not like.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it's about. I think both have both comedy and. You know, they're more serious aspects.
I'm watching the anime right now, and I'm telling you, as a big.
I own both and probably need to rewatch both. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I always recommend to, like, when people, again, I know a lot of people do this, but you know, when I have a friend who maybe doesn't watch much anime, like, what should I watch? I'll be like, yeah, Cowboy Bebop.
No, it's
and if they've seen Firefly, I'll be like, yeah, you'll probably enjoy Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it's usually labeled the gateway anime, so
yeah,
you can't go wrong with that.
So next up is recommended content from the past week other than news listed out, links in the description and on the pastebin. We have interview No Fatal Frame Remaster collection currently planned by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. I don't know why I put the wrong site there. Only Nintendo could screw up emulation of its own game by Jade King for the gamer. Preview SMT5 story swiftly introduces us to a world of demons by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. There's a handful of SMT5 previews up now, so if you're still on the fence about getting that game, you might want to check them out. Monster Hunter Stories 2: 8 differences from the main series games by me for the gamer. And 5 extremely creepy moments in non-horror games by Lucas White for Prima Games. So, what's interesting about my Monster Hunter Stories 2 piece is that I already knew, but I put one of the differences is that the lore. So you know how there are two monsters, these two like rock wyvern things. One's called the Basarios and one's called the Gravios. A Gravios is a fully grown Basarios.
Oh.
So therefore, it should not be able to hatch from an egg, but it can in Stories 2.
Listen, David Attenborough. This isn't real life.
And also the Black Diablos. The Black Diablos they're not a subspecies of Diablos. They are female Diablos in heat, but they also hatch from eggs. But there was an interview I saw where the producer was actually asked about this, and he laughed and said, "Oh, try not to think about it too much."
Yeah, like I said, David Attenborough. Don't.
Is this an interesting fun fact?
Yeah. This ain't no BBC documentary. Calm down.
Well, you know, the size of the
yeah, sure.
It's not the correct size of I don't know. Next up is the news rundown, and we'll start off with the badish news with a couple of delays. So I'll let the bearer of bad news and Shinigami take it away.
Bankai. So here we go. First up, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp delayed to spring 2022. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Publisher Nintendo and developer Intelligent Systems have delayed Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp from its previously planned December 3rd release date to spring 2022. Quote, "The game just needs a little more time for fine-tuning," Nintendo said it in a tweet. And they continue, "You'll be battling with Andy and friends soon. Thanks for your patience." Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp includes remakes of turn-based strategy games Advance Wars and Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising, which were originally released for Game Boy Advance. Listen, we all have backlogs the size of Colorado will be fine. Is Colorado a good
yeah.
good reference?
So what's interesting is last time I checked the Nintendo eShop, which was like a day or two ago, it wasn't updated, so it still said December 3rd.
Oh, come on. That's an easy mistake.
No, I know. I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, they must have just not updated it quite yet.
Next up, we have Digimon Survive officially delayed to 2022. This is also by Saruman for Gamatsu. And that you hear is Erroll wailing in the background.
No, we already knew this because of the ratings in Korea and Australia. But I don't understand. Like, people on news shows today were like, oh, we're never playing this game. It got delayed again. And I was like, if you're paying attention to news, it's pretty obvious that it was going to be delayed.
I mean, rarely has a game been rated and then canceled outright.
Right.
If ever.
So this was just kind of I wonder if they had it just came out a little later than they...
Probably like COVID shifting production resources.
Right.
Anyway, following Toei's Animation's reveal of a delay back in July, Bandai Namco has published an official announcement delaying Digimon Survive from 2021 to 2022. It will be available for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam. You can click on the article for a statement from the game's producer. So go do that. I mean,
there's also there's supposedly a Digimon story game in the works that was teased back in like 2017 that we've heard nothing about. So hopefully once Digimon Survive gets a release date and comes out, we'll hear more about whatever that other game is.
Are you looking forward to that one more than this one?
We don't know anything about it, so I can't. Okay. At the moment.
I mean, you've mentioned it a few times before in the past, so I'm only checking.
It's just because I've played a Digimon story game before. Digimon Survive is a whole new type of project. You know, visual novel, strategy RPG. And we haven't seen... Remember, we also haven't seen any footage since the delay. So we don't know how much... If it's changed all that much. Hopefully it hasn't, because...
It probably hasn't.
Yeah, because I don't think they wouldn't show footage unless it... Or I don't think they would show more footage if it didn't change. Yeah.
There's also the thing that Japanese game development is notoriously secretive, so you'll know more when you'll know more. We've had the same conversation regarding Tales of Arise when it was very quiet for like almost a year, I want to say.
A while,
and then suddenly they dropped all the info,
everything
leading up to its release. So we'll be fine. Okay.
We didn't put anyone on this one.
I'll pick it up. Next up in the good-ish news.
Other news. We don't call it good-ish news.
I mean, all news is subjective.
I know.
NetEase Games acquires Grasshopper Manufacture. This is by Saruman for Gamatsu. NetEase Games has acquired No More Heroes developer Grasshopper Manufacture from Gung Ho Online Entertainment, the company's announced. The equity transfer agreement was signed on May 31st. You can click on the article for a full breakdown and announcement message by both parties. So give Gamatsu that click.
Yeah. Next up, Fantasy Life Online coming west. This is by Saruman for Gamatsu once again. Bolt Trend Games will release Level 5 developed simulation RPG Fantasy Life Online worldwide, the publisher announced. A closed beta test will run from October 28th to November 5th for Android in Canada, Australia, Malaysia, Finland, Romania, and Argentina. Data will be erased following the test. All money spent during the closed beta test will be refunded in double in the upcoming open beta test. Fantasy Life Online first launched for iOS via App Store and Android via Google Play on July 23rd, 2018 in Japan. So there you go, a new Level 5 game.
I guess. Yesterday
I'm wondering when
they celebrated their 25th anniversary, I want to say.
Level 5?
Yeah, I tweeted it out. I'll look it up.
I'm wondering if that Ni no Kuni mobile game is going. It's supposed to have a Western release, right?
It wasn't specified, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so Gamatsu tweeted out yesterday, level 5 turned 23 today, October 28th. Okay.
So Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds, I know it's pretty popular in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no confirmation of if it will release worldwide or not. But maybe that'll be the next one.
Fingers crossed. Happy thoughts.
I'm willing to try Fantasy Life Online. I know it's a beloved game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many games are in the series. I know it's not many.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the 3DS game and then there's this mobile game, and I think that's it, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'm sure fans are excited for that. Next up, Fortnite adds Resident Evil's Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine. I know we don't usually talk about Fortnite on here, but these are characters from a Japan-developed series. This is by Carly Garcia for Siliconera. Fortnite is adding 2 characters from the Resident Evil franchise to the Battle Royale title for Halloween. Epic Games announced the addition of Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine in a blog post. Both are currently available in the Fortnite item shop. Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield made their first appearance in the original Resident Evil title released in 1996. Along with the new characters, the STARS team set will include 2 alternate outfits along with other items inspired by the Resident Evil series. The alternate style for Chris resembles his appearance in Resident Evil Village. Jill's matches her look in the Resident Evil 3 remake. Additional items being added include green, red, and blue herb back bling, the saving keystrokes back bling, the hot dogger pickaxe, and the stun rod pickaxe. The Broly Stroll emote is also on the way. Epic released a video preview of the emote. All right.
There's also like multiple skins expanding the series, so you shouldn't feel left out if you only get the Village or RE original costume.
Right. I just wonder if that Naruto leak was real. And when that's coming, if it was
I
real.
hope not. I'm gonna pull my hair out if I see Naruto brandishing a gun.
It would be funny though.
Like I already have problems with Batman and Superman having guns.
I'm sure they have at some point.
Yeah, they have.
The 90s.
Batman
probably.
has notoriously used guns in his first few incarnations, but if we're talking about the core ethos of the character, they don't fit the core ethos of the character.
Right. Next up, Super Robot Wars 30 DLC number 2 includes Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans, and Ultraman. Plus the previously announced Super Robot Wars OG characters. This is by Sawamото for Gamatsu once again. Super Robot Wars 30 downloadable content number 2 will include Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphan, Mecha and Pilots only, and Ultraman characters only, alongside the Super Robot Wars OG series, Mecha and Pilots only, publisher Bandai Namco and developer BB Studio announced. It will launch in December. As previously announced, downloadable content number 2 will feature 9 additional playable units, including 2 from Super Robot Wars OG and 13 additional area missions. The release of downloadable content number 2 will follow the release of downloadable content number 1 in November, which includes characters from Sakura Wars and more. So it's the Ultraman from the Ultraman Netflix anime series. Again. Like with Override 2. I don't know why this keeps happening. It must be like more popular internationally to be using that Ultraman, even though it's not typically the standard giant Ultraman.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm happy about it still. I'm just like, I just think it's a little weird. And we already have Gridman in Super Robot Wars 30, so I'm pretty happy.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Next up, we have Ko Shibusawa and Team Ninja developing Romance of the Three Kingdoms action game. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Koei Tecmo's Ko Shibusawa and Team Ninja brands are collaborating on the development of a new action game set in the world of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The company announced during the Ko Shibusawa 40th anniversary program fall campaign livestream. While the Romance of the Three Kingdoms titles are generally strategy games developed by the Ko Shibusawa brand, the Team Ninja brand is known for action games such as the Ninja Gaiden and Neo series. Shout out to Famitsu. For those unfamiliar, Ko Shibusawa is like the internal branding they use for their historical quote-unquote games. It's like Three Kingdoms, Dynasty Warriors. So this is very notable because Team Ninja is specialized in, I want to say, character action games. So what does this mean specifically for the announcement of what they're working on? I have no idea. Most people think it's probably going to be like a Dynasty Warriors branded action game, which, you know, might be good. Who knows?
You know what else had like a Romance of the Three Kingdoms spin-off game?
Pokemon?
Yokai Watch.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh.
Close.
I mean,
Or it was similar. I don't know if it was
Pokemon had that Nobunaga's Ambition crossover.
Yeah, Nobunaga's Ambition. Was it Sangokushi? Turn-based tactical role-playing game. Yeah, and it is Koei Tecmo, yeah. Based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms. One of the ones we never got. Next up, Sega trademarks Sega Sapporo Studio in Japan, a new development studio in Sapporo. This is by Sarumato for Gamatsu once again. Sega filed trademarks for Sega Sapporo Studio on October 11th in Japan in both English and Japanese, suggesting it plans to open a new development studio in the Hokkaido capital city. In related news, Nintendo registered trademarks for Duck Hunt, Excitebots, Happy Home Paradise, Mario Strikers, and Super Mario Land, and Gacha Gacha Games registered a trademark for this image. What is it? Chizai Watch? It's like a weird optical illusion of a tunnel. It looks like this.
That's
maybe it's a logo
weird.
for something.
I don't know.
But I didn't know about the trademark. It could mean nothing. But Mario Strikers, that's interesting. Mario Strikers and Super Mario Land specifically is pretty interesting to see them re-trademark. But it might just be, it might have been time to just re-trademark those titles. But who knows? Maybe we'll see them on Switch
one day.
soon.
One day.
Yeah. I mean, Mario Strikers does not get... I mean, it gets enough love from fans, but from Nintendo, they're like, nah.
Well, there are reasons behind
What is that?
that.
I know.
It's more branding and whatnot. Okay, next up we have composer Shoji Meguro leaves Atlus developing indie game to be announced on November 6th. This is by Sal Romano from Gamatsu. Shoji Meguro has left the Atlus sound team to work as a freelance composer, the company announced. Atlus will continue to develop new titles with Meguro working as a freelance composer, as well as support his endeavor to expand his efforts in the future. Shoji Meguro joined Atlus in 1995 and has composed countless soundtracks for Atlus titles since, including the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona series. You can find his full portfolio if you click here, so click on the article and click there. Kodansha Game Creators Lab, an independent game developer support organization, also announced it will support Meguro on the development of a new indie game to be announced on November 6th at Indie Live Expo 2021 in winter. According to Megoro's Twitter profile, it is a near-future science fiction stealth action role-playing game with gun-based combat. You can click on the article if you want full details. It looks interesting. That's what I'll say. But yeah, give the good people at Gamatsu a click. I want to say that main composers leaving companies to go freelance is nothing new. Like Motoi Sakuraba
Right.
does it
And he'll still continue to work with Atlas.
Yeah, so Motoi Sakuraba does it for the Tales series, the Star Ocean series, and many other things. Nobuo Uematsu does it for the Final Fantasy series. Plenty of others do it. So it's not going to be the end of the world for Sega Atlas and the Persona brand, or the Shin Megami brand. What is notable, however, is that Meguro was kind of integral to the design of the games. Design of the characters, kind of influential in the story and whatnot. So it might have a noticeable influence for the next Persona game. It might also not, because, as I said before, a main composer becoming a freelance composer doesn't have to change the overall output of the product. But we'll see when the time comes with the next Persona game or whatnot. Next up,
Right.
Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Series. Final Fantasy V launches November 10th. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu.
Do we need to pay him?
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to pay him by episode 101. Maybe he should be our guest for the 100th episode.
Unless we don't have... let's see if we make it to episode 101 first.
Hey. Happy thoughts. The Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Series version of Final Fantasy V will launch for PC via Steam, iOS, and Android on November 10th for $17.99 US, Square Enix announced. Pre-orders are currently available at a 20% off discount price of $14.39 US. Yes.
Chris Kohler, formerly of Kotaku, has a fascinating book for boss fight books on Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
Stuff about how like Final Fantasy V fans would like fan translate stuff and import the game before it first released on. I don't know when what system it first released on internationally.
SNES. No, internationally.
No, not internationally.
Internationally would be the PlayStation.
Are you sure about no?
Yeah, I read it in the chapter of the book.
Of the book.
Of the book.
I haven't read the book in a while, so
it's a good book.
Like since it came out, yeah.
Like I'm tempted to just pre-order it based off of the book. So
speaking of which, our friend Alexa Ray has a new Kingdom Hearts 3 essay in the Nightmare Mode collection in boss fight books, and it's only like $3 for that whole collection of essays.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out too.
Also,
but
go ahead.
A lot of people are worried about Final Fantasy VI now. They're like, oh, what if it doesn't make it out until next year? And I'm like, it'll probably make it out in December. It's fine.
It's not the end of the world if it doesn't come by the end of the year. Like,
right.
Like, what the hell, people?
It's more like, I thought they said that, like, oh, they should all come out by the end of 2021, which I'm like, all right, that's fine. They said should. That doesn't guarantee anything. But, like, you know, yeah, it's not the biggest deal in the world. We got plenty of stuff. We got plenty of Final Fantasy. We got 1 through 4. We got 7 through 15.
Mm-hmm. Like it's
and all the various spin-offs and whatnot.
It'll be fine if it comes out next year. Also, remember, it's a pandemic.
Right. I don't know what if it's just like a timing thing or they're just making sure like each bigger title they just have to make sure more stuff is working. I don't know. I haven't played the old. I have those games because I have the Pixel remasters, but I haven't played any of them yet.
If I'm
so
not
I don't
mistaken, the rumor stated that the remasters are complete and it's just a staggered release at this point.
Oh, okay.
But I could be mistaken.
Yeah. So it should come out. I'm not too worried.
You'll be fine. You'll all
Plenty
be
of
fine.
other Final Fantasies to get through and other games to get through
Yeah.
before that anyway.
So I looked it up, and the first release date for Final Fantasy V was December 6th in Japan for the Super Famicom. March 19th, 1998 for PlayStation. North America has October 5th, 1999. And in Europe,
Okay.
February 27th, 2002. That's pretty late. But the reason why this had a international release, it's because they were already planning it for the international release. So that's why they bundled it with Final Fantasy VI, and that's why Final Fantasy IV got an international release way later, or the remake treatment way later. Yeah. Also read in the book, so go read that book.
It's a good book.
It's a really good book.
It's just called Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
By Chris Kohler for Boss Fight Books.
Yep.
There's a crystal on the cover because, of course, it does.
Yeah. Next up, Deathverse Let It Die announced for PS5 and PS4. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Publisher Gung Ho Online Entertainment and developer Super Trick Games have announced Let It Die follow-up Deathverse Let It Die for PS5 and PS4. It will launch as a free-to-play title in spring 2022. Excuse me. You can click on the article for a full breakdown. It's a pretty lengthy article, so give it a look, or watch the trailer to get an idea of what the game is about. It's kind of like a free-for-all Souls like.
You would describe it that way?
Yeah, it's kind of like if it's a death game. It's a Souls like. It's free to play.
It's in a world. It's in a world set hundreds of years after Let It Die. So if you enjoyed Let It Die, maybe you'll enjoy this game. I don't know anybody who enjoyed that game, but I don't know anybody who hates that game either.
If I'm not mistaken, they tweeted out this week that Let It Die had like a very high player count or downloads, which surprised the producer, if I'm not mistaken. So all in all, it's a success to them. So this being announced doesn't surprise me at all. Next,
they also did Ninjala, which is great.
Well, Gung Ho did.
Gung Ho, yes, Gung Ho.
And I don't know if they only published
it,
or if they also developed it. Let me check for you.
But I'm willing to try this Deathverse game. I remember like briefly trying Let It Die, and I wasn't into it. But this one I could eat. It seems a little more straightforward.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'll try it.
Yeah, go try it and report back. Okay, so Ninjala is developed by Soleil and published by Gung Ho Online Entertainment. Okay, next up we have King of Fighters 15 open beta test announced. This is the PlayStation blog who did it. It's by Yasuyuki Oda, who is the chief producer of the SNK Corporation. From the PlayStation blog. Attention all SNK and KOF fans across the globe. Today, during State of Play KOF 15, newest character Dolores and the announcement of KOF 15 open beta test was broadcasted worldwide. In this article, I'd like to talk a bit about Dolores, the upcoming open beta test, and what makes KOF 15 so awesome. Well, I'm not going to go into everything. It's notable that Dolores is a black character, so that's cool. Although it's that. It
kind of reminds me.
It's that
of like a character from Bloodstained.
I was going to say Bayonetta.
Or that.
But I would like to point out it's kind of that stereotypical a black character in a fantasy setting who has blonde or white or gray hair. So it's
right.
Your mileage may vary on that. But yeah, the open beta test begins on November 19th at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 a.m. BST? I don't know what BST means.
Bostonian Standard Time. I don't know.
If only. Okay. We have the power of the internet. What does BST mean? British summertime. Okay.
Blue Saber Transportation.
The more you know. Okay, so November 19th at 7 p.m. Pacific time or 3 a.m. British Standard Time, or British Summer Time, I should say, or 12 p.m. Japan Standard Time, and it ends on November 22nd around 7 a.m. Pacific Time, etc., etc. So if you want to know more, click on the article, have a look-see at the details, at the breakdown, and, it also bears mentioning that the owner of SNK might not be the best person in the world, but I'm fairly confident that the developers don't have a say in that. So they made a good game. They can't control who owns them and who publishes that game. So
right.
C'est la vie, I guess. Next up, new Star Ocean game.
Oh, what?
Is Star Ocean: The Divine Force. This is by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. One of the last games to appear during the October 2021 State of Play is a new Star Ocean game. The project's first trailer appeared during the presentation. While exact details like a release window didn't come up, its name appeared. It is Star Ocean: The Divine Force. People will see it on the PS4 and PS5 in 2022, and it is apparent that it will also be on the Xbox One Series consoles and PC. Yes. Well, the video begins with a crew on a spaceship above a planet, as is typical. Incidents occur that result in technologically advanced humans winding up on a planet where magic exists. We see the captain of the ship joining up with the residents from the planet, and they appeared in medieval-like armor. You can click on the article for a full breakdown and for the trailer. Okay, thoughts?
This, as many people have said, gives me some Xenoblade Chronicles X vibes.
I think that's a clear inspiration. If I look at
I'm not picky. I'm not usually picky with English voice acting, but dear God, was it bad in this. I don't know how Star Ocean voice acting usually is, but I mean, as long as it has Japanese audio, it's fine.
I played First Departure R, which is admittedly based off of an older production, and the voice acting was fine. It's like, early 2000s anime.
Yes. So it's just this specific one was just not great.
Yeah. Other thoughts?
And so some people saying it looks a bit dated, and I'm like, well, they got time, 2022, and also like, I think it looks pretty solid. I mean, we didn't see that much of the combat and stuff. We just saw that character flying around, which was kind of cool. People don't really like how this dude looks because he looks too much like a lot of other Star Ocean main characters.
He kind of looks like Edge Maverick, who had a bad hair day.
Was Edge Maverick in Star Ocean 5 or 4?
4. 5 was Fidel. Whatever.
Because I know a lot of people... 4 people are mixed on, and 5 people really don't like.
Yeah. Go look up reviews for Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness.
But people love 3.
Well, yes, but lately in retrospect,
at least fans do.
People have become more mixed on it. The clear high point from what I've read and seen in the community is that Star Ocean 2 Second Story, the PSP remake, is the clear favorite.
I plan on playing most of them. I have First Departure and 4. So at some point I will.
Okay. Let me know how that goes. But yeah, I've tweeted it out. I don't like how the game looks. The character designs are frankly ugly. I'm sorry. You
can kind of get it confused with... I kind of think you can get this game, with how it looks, confused with like Phantasy Star Online 2. There are already 2 sci-fi games, and I think they look relatively similar in terms of characters.
I get that, but
at least human characters.
Star Ocean is still different in that it's concerning both sci-fi and older historical periods within that game's setting. So it's not straight sci-fi. There's also elements of medieval and fantasy elements within that story. Whereas Phantasy Star is like straight sci-fi. Where how do I explain this properly? You could say that Star Ocean would be like Star Trek in an earlier time period, and Phantasy Star would be like Star Trek at the later time period, where there's a lot more technology and less fantastical elements, I'd say, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, don't at me. But yeah, I don't like how the game looks. The character designs are kind of ugly. I'm not a fan of the plastic doll aesthetic.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Like, whoever thought the plastic doll thing that started in Star Ocean 3 would look good on PlayStation 5 needs a talking to, because this ain't it.
This was still, like, for me, this was like the most interesting thing they showed in the recent State of Play, besides the Bugsnax DLC, of course, but that's not Japan developed.
Yeah. I also want to point out this main character, his character design does not come across as well as it should, because he has scars on his face and the rest of his body, but it kind of looks like bad cosplay in 3D art. It's like, what are you guys doing? The game is probably like early development, I want to say, because it looks in a very rough state.
Probably late 2022.
Probably,
if it makes it out.
And something that's really apparent from Tri-Ace developed games and Star Ocean in particular, they don't know how to do architecture well. It's always an approximation of something that could be real, but nothing that actually feels like it could physically exist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I told you create a building with no reference material, no research on how buildings are constructed or how weight affects certain elements of buildings, or of how you should structure your roof, your pillars, whatnot, how weight distribution works across all of that, and if you just do something, that's kind of what Star Ocean looks like. And it's we're past this. This is like early Xbox 360 game design.
Look, Tri-Ace, just when are you just gonna make just make Resonance of Fate 2. I know that's Sega, not Square Enix, but still Tri-Ace.
I hope this game is a lot more fun than it looks. That's all.
Looks okay to me.
That's all I'll say. It's also very surprising, because this is kind of the long lost sibling of the Tales series, and Tales of Arise being such a high point for the series after such a slog of releases, and not slog, I shouldn't say that, but kind of lesser well received entries in the series. And Star Ocean has kind of been like miss after miss after miss in the greater sense of the JRPG landscape. And I'm like, you could have been great. You could have been a contender, but we'll see how it goes.
So some people are, just really hoping that it's better than 5, which apparently isn't too high of a bar to clear.
No, it's I haven't even played it yet. Someone pointed it out, like, the game was so bad that it didn't even come to PC or Switch. It just stayed on PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully it turns out good.
Fingers crossed. Next up, Tales of Arise shipments and digital sales top 1.5 million. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Total worldwide shipments and digital sales for Tales of Arise have surpassed 1.5 million units, Bandai Namco announced. The achievement comes just over a month after the announcement that the game sold 1 million units. This is really good news. And I still think it's ironic because the core creative team behind the Tales series that started it is at the helm of the Star Ocean series. So I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. Maybe I should blog about this. Get my feelings on pen and paper. Something. Next up, Tales of Luminaria launches November 4th. Pre-registration available now. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Tales of Luminaria will launch for iOS via App Store and Android via Google Play on November 4th. Publisher Bandai Namco and developer Colopal announced. Pre-registration is available now. You can click on the article for a full breakdown of the game. It'll be free to play. All characters are available for free. Well, all starting characters, I should say, the 21 protagonists. And if I'm not mistaken, they will have like 8 episodes per character and then crossover episodes per story chapter. And the paid DLC for the game, or the gacha elements, are weapons, skins, and some mystic arts, if I'm not mistaken. So it's, you know, if you just want a good story JRPG in a mobile form, then this is it.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I never finished Crestoria, but I do want to at least...
Well, Luminaria is gonna be different in that it won't be a crossover game. It's like a straight...
It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
Because I'd like to read about the rest of how the story turned out, because I'm probably not going to play it. Next up, PS5 shipments top 13.3 million. PS4 tops 116.6 million. Once again by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. PlayStation 5 has shipped 13.3 million units worldwide, and PlayStation 4 has shipped 116.6 million units. Sony announced in its financial results for the 3 months ended September 30th, 2021. A total of 3.3 million PlayStation 5 units and 200,000 PlayStation 4 units were shipped during the 3 months ended September 30th, 2021. PlayStation 4 shipments were down 1.3 million from the 1.5 million shipped during the same period the previous fiscal year. There are a couple of additional statistics, including that there are 47.2 million PlayStation Plus subscribers as of September 30th, 2021, which is up 1.3 million from the 4.59 million subscribers during the same period the previous fiscal year. PS5 and PS4 software combined sold 76.4 million units in the second quarter of fiscal year 2021, which is down 5.4 million from the 81.8 million software sold during the same period the previous fiscal year. 7.6 million units were first-party titles, which is down 5.2 million units, which is down 5.2 million from the 12.8 million sold during the same period the previous fiscal year. 62% of software sales were full game software digital downloads compared to 59% the previous year. Well, it looks like everything is
turning up PlayStation.
Going well for Sony.
Yeah.
And then our last news story before the main topic. Capcom financial report reveals strong second quarter sales. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. Capcom released its second quarter financial report, revealing that titles like Resident Evil Village and Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin contributed to strong sales and growth. Additionally, Capcom has hit record levels for its second growth quarter. This is in part due to the digital sales of titles like Resident Evil Village and Monster Hunter Rise. As mentioned previously, Resident Evil Village contributed to strong sales within Capcom. Additionally, the game has surpassed 5 million units sold worldwide. Capcom also notes that strong sales for Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin contributed to the company's current success. Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin sales surpassed 1 million units in July 2021. Sales for Monster Hunter Rise have also continued to grow at a steady rate, which Capcom mentions within its financial report. Capcom also mentions the release of Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild and Resident Evil Infinite Darkness as having contributed to the strengthening of its brands. This also includes the release of branded items and merchandise. The report only briefly mentions the mobile division However, it notes that the mobile titles featuring popular Capcom IPs contributed to the overall growth of the company within this period. I wish there had been an update on Monster Hunter Stories 2 sales in this. Alright, well, let me see. Because I can go to the actual financial report.
Nothing?
Monster Hunter Stories 2. Wait, it says role-playing game Monster Hunter Stories 2 was released, winning over a broad range of fans with its adventures featuring popular monsters and an engaging combat system. This resulted over 1 million units. Additionally, so it didn't actually have any more.
Well, like we said
There's no
last week,
number update.
it'll probably be around the 6-month mark, if not a bit later.
Would we get a numbers update? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless before that something happens and it gets a big boost.
I mean, yeah.
So our main topic. Remember how we were talking about Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack last week?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's out now. But Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack users report emulation issues. This is by our buddy Lucas White for Prima Games. Nintendo launched a new pricing tier for its online subscription service, Nintendo Switch Online. The expansion pack, as it's called, introduces a Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64 app in addition to the base subscriptions NES and SNES libraries. While it seems like the Genesis app is great, many users are reporting several issues with the NSO's N64 emulation. Most of the issues being reported seem to be most apparent in 3 games. Unfortunately, these 3 games are the most crucial of the N64 library. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, and Mario Kart 64. From input latency to sound issues, these games appear to be inspiring some buyer's remorse. That said, the impact of these snags can be very user-dependent, as some confusion in message boards and online threads indicates. Ocarina of Time, a game that has always had trouble running well even on its original hardware, seems to be the biggest problem. Multiple folks, speedrunners and otherwise, have pointed out a degree of input latency that is catching them off guard compared to previously emulated versions. It's similar in Super Mario 64, which is being compared to Super Mario 3D All-Stars that includes a much better emulation experience. Many of the sound issues documented online seem to largely show up in Mario Kart 64. On top of the technical issues, there are problems that are seemingly deliberate parts of the emulator. The button configuration cannot be altered, and the way the N64's oddly arranged buttons are mapped to the Switch is not going over well. The N64 controller pack, the way the original console needed to save data in certain scenarios, is also not emulated. Thus, players are seeing error messages in games like Winback or Mario Kart 64 that they can't do anything about. Further complicating the matter is that other games, such as Star Fox 64 or Mario Tennis, appear to be running just fine according to some of these same users. It's too early to tell what exactly is going on with this emulation, but it seems inconsistent to say the least. And considering where N64 emulation is and has been, official and otherwise, the NSO expansion pack's price hike is causing further dissatisfaction. Will Nintendo address or respond to these issues? Who can say? But we'll be keeping an eye on the matter.
Okay.
I don't know if they will.
They will address it. They have to. This is.
But on the other hand, they're Nintendo.
Yes, sure, but Nintendo of late has been better with working feedback into their online products. They're slow because they don't see themselves as a live service.
No, they see themselves as a toy company.
Toy company. They see themselves as a developer who caters to a wide audience. I don't necessarily think they see themselves as a toy company.
So I wonder if it's just something to do with the Switch, because I don't remember like a ton of problems with like Wii Nintendo 64 emulation. It might be like a completely different kind of thing, you know? It's been over a decade since then.
The hardware could be an issue, although the Switch is kind of like a juiced up Android tablet, and N64 games have been running on Android emulators for years now. So that's not to say that this is an emulator that is already widely available. This is probably like an in-house thing Nintendo cooked up. And the emulators we already have in the wild are iterated upon after years and years and years and years of feedback. So you have this finely tuned product for free, and then you have this expensive ass thing that works some of the time. And that's really a cause for concern, because if you're driving into the holidays with this new thing, I don't think people are going to be as eager to partake as they should be or would have been. But this is really unfortunate. And I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I was more forgiving regarding this, and I was also thinking, I'm getting the Animal Crossing expansion, quote unquote, for free if I subscribe. But the rub is I can't use that DLC for any of the other profiles on my Switch. So if my girlfriend would want to enjoy that DLC, she'd have to buy it herself. So it's kind of like such a weird collection of decisions Nintendo has made, and there is no good defense for this. Like, it just sucks from top to bottom. And it's disappointing, because people have been clamoring for this to be a thing, and now it's here and it sucks. Like, was it like they had to get it out by a certain date?
Right.
Did they not have enough resources because of COVID? What happened? I don't think we're going to get a straight answer besides, we're sorry about this, we're working on it, and then that'll be it. But it's so disappointing.
On the bright side, at least the Genesis emulator seems to be working fine. But
it's I don't think it's too surprising, because more financial resources went into that, because Sega was kind of playing hardball, according to the rumors. So they had to get that right, because you're not gonna license something and then crap all over it in the final product, because that would be a waste of money.
Yeah.
But that aside, are you still considering it, or just now waiting?
I'm not considering. No, not right now. I was only gonna consider it when whenever if the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games come to it, and then of course it depends on what games those are.
If I'm not mistaken, Game Explain has a video.
And also we have to make sure it works.
Yeah, Game Explain has a video on this where they did a report on the data miners, and they have uncovered that the N64 and the Sega Genesis emulators have like more room in their how do I say this, registry.
Right, I remember seeing a list.
For more games, and there's also the slight caveat that there's a number missing between databases. Like, let's say the N64 is database number 3 and the Sega Genesis is database number 5, and number 4 is missing. What happened to number 4? And you don't make that distinction without a clear purpose. So chances are they're going to be releasing more platforms for the Nintendo Switch Online service, but I don't think they can like hike the price even more after this, because people don't have faith in them.
Yeah.
Like,
if you still have a Wii U for whatever reason,
I mean,
it has a selection of Game Boy Advance games. I mean you as in the audience.
You'd be like very wise to do that. So
yeah, it does have a handful of Game Boy Advance games, and they seem to run fine as far as I know.
Yeah. The Wii U emulation is noticeably a lot better than the Switch emulation. And if you're
got some Advance Wars and some Kirby games and Golden Sun and Mega Man Battle Network, a couple of those. The Castlevania Game Boy Advance games, of course, you could just get the collection these days. But
you know what also sucks? Like, there was this whole debate going on about piracy and emulation before this dropped.
Because of the Metroid stuff?
Yeah, and now this dropped, and everyone's like, oh no, screw it, we're just pirating. Like, there's no excuse for this.
Unfortunate. Oh, I forgot to put the news story, speaking of which. Metroid Dread has a demo on Switch now.
Yeah, just in time for Halloween to bring the dread.
Bring the dread.
Yeah, so...
Burn my dread.
I mean, you could try it now. I mean, you probably won't be playing it.
I'm kind of busy with... I'm a little busy with Shadowbringers and Super Robot Wars and such.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah.
I wanted to try some Evil Within 2 because...
Game Pass?
I watched my friend play some of that. Oh, it's on Game Pass, yeah. But like the tone of it and some of the dialogue is just really funny.
Have you ever played Evil Within 1?
Why? No, but...
You might want to start with that. Or at the very least, look up a recap on YouTube.
I mean, I if I don't play it soon, I'll probably play Evil Within 2 eventually. Halloween is so close, and I've just like kind of run out of time to do a lot of the stuff I usually do.
Yeah, but both of them are on Game Pass, so
yeah, I'll play them eventually because they're both Bethesda Tango Gameworks.
Yeah, it's very much in the same vein as Resident Evil 4, so if you have any affinity for that game, you might like this one.
I don't.
Okay, so we'll see how that goes.
I'll try it sometime.
Okay. Well, that was it for this week. Kind of, well, not short, but short-ish for an episode.
Not a lot of big news this week.
No, that's fine.
Just fine. It's getting to November, and we're gonna have plenty of news with like Endwalker coming out and the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes and what was the other thing? Oh, Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah, I think,
and that's all like the first two, like the second week of November or something.
Yeah, so we'll be fine. There will be plenty to talk about. So thank you for listening this week. As always, stay safe out there, stay healthy, wash your hands, get vaccinated if you can.
Please get vaccinated if you can, yes.
Shower.
Wear a mask, shower.
Wash your butt.
Wash yourself.
Wash your feet. Because I don't know why that was a debate, but okay.
That was a debate, apparently?
Yeah, like a few months ago.
Was it washing feet in general, or just when to do it?
Washing feet in general, because they were of the opinion that only upper body matters. Like that's such. That's such a strange thing.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh, your legs smelling.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know like my legs if it's hot, my legs can get pretty sweaty. So like I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want that. Also, go outside, touch some grass. Exercise if you can. Go watch anime.
Of course, if you're allergic to grass or something, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. What's wrong with you?
Go outside, go for a walk.
You know better. Watch anime, read manga, listen to K-pop. I don't know if we stan anyone, but we don't. I think. And
BTS. I don't know.
Yeah, stan BTS.
I only know two K-pop bands: BTS and Monster X. And the second one I only know because of We Bare Bears. So
I mean, there's Blackpink. There's
there's also that.
To Anyone, I think. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Anyway, yeah.
Thank you for listening. This has been Jason. This has been Erroll, and
you listen to J-pop too, of course, because we're a
Japanese podcast
revolving around Japan.
Yeah. Anyway,
there are a lot of great artists doing. All those anime openings. Check out Jam Project from Super Robot Wars. That's fun. Check out the Super Robot Wars soundtracks. Maybe it'll get you interested in the Super Robot Wars games. A lot of them have English versions, despite not always being released internationally.
All right.
And yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week. And this is us signing off. Goodbye.
Matane.